It's in London, you're right. Absolutely so. It was on the street the previous Midsummer's Night, the sun being down in the crowd, that she met Murphy. She had turned out of Edith Grove into Cremorne Grove. So this is Edith Grove there, right? Cremorne Grove is the road just around the end to the right. When chancing to glance to her right, she saw motionless in the mouth of Stadium Street, considering alternately the sky and a sheet of paper, a man, Murphy. Stadium Street there, that's not Murphy, that's some gobshite. Get the general picture. Yeah, the thing is, when I was doing this, taking these holidays, I was in London. After I came back from Halifax, I stopped in London, I was there for a few days, and then I went to see the Rolling Stones. And then I thought, because the Murphy manuscript is finally up for auction, that I'll do Murphy. I have a few days, so I'll do Murphy Town. So I was wandering around, and it dawned on me when I got to Edith Grove the first time. I thought, this is extraordinary. 102 Edith Grove. Anyone? Barry Epstein, the Rolling Stones manager, locked me in the kitchen on the 1st of December 1963 and said, "Write out the single." They lived in the building for 4 years. So, I was struck by how extraordinary this is, that there is this, and I don't know philosophical discourse that properly articulates this type of thing. It's like a place or a space that is so charged with creative affect. I know Gaston Bachelard does it, Michel de Certeau does it, but they're not necessarily validated by the institution. It's like, so I need to find a way to talk about this kind of stuff, and I'm not entirely sure how. Let's see. I was going to play Name That Tune, but because you can see the tunes, I'll just give it the snippets. In this room and the studios these three songs were written, so it's the same kind of thing. It's very intense for you to, of course, try and replicate that. The strange thing is they succeeded. And he said something extraordinary. He said, the first thing you hear in any recording is the room. Rooms, I think, the room is passing in Beckett. It's like everywhere, so I've just given a couple of little snippets here. So the opening line, I'm in my mother's room, because I live there now. Malone is told, Sarah McMahon is told at some particular point, you are now in a room in St. John of God's with the number 166. I'm just to have a little thing here that I have to show you. I was talking to Leonard about this area. I was asking about his paper when he was doing that palimpsestic layering. So you've got so many different writers from different areas coming in. Do you ever feel like you've gone a bit mad? And he said, absolutely, because this is Albrecht Dürer. It's an etching, it's called, right, In the Room of John of God. And the measurements of the painting are 84 inches by 166. Philip Hammond tells us that every building once completed concretizes a sort of social and natural proxemics. Writers start out from the building, the cadastre, the parcel, in other words, emerge from a static system of distinctions, be these real houses or the fictive abodes of memory, and then subsequently imagine the travels and adventures of the characters. I think that in Beckett, the location of the writing and the location in the writing are always entwined. In Beckett, they're intimately related, but they're also differential. So when Ben was speaking yesterday, we had that clip from Malone Dies about the stonecutters, and you're actually saying, is it Malone, is it McMahon, or is it Beckett? And there's something in that that I find very difficult to articulate. It seems to be hugely important to Beckett's studies. The room, of course, is also quite often, very frequently, a womb. These are from the psychology, in Beckett's own psychology notes, the ones he was taking in the 30s and 35 onwards in London. Of course, he's transcribing from Adler, or from Ernest Jones. He says, so direct quote from Jones, a room is a regular unconscious symbol for woman. Then Beckett's own note in parenthesis, as room for womb or for woman, also from the Rank notes, town was another symbol. He said in a letter to Greeby when he was going through the analysis that, I can't remember the exact wording, but he basically kind of admits to all these neuroses, and then he says at the end of the mail, Tom P, I will use me to them. In other words, this is material. It's like that recognition of the dark that's within him. It's earlier, but at the same time, it's a sense that I have to use this material. So, of course, I'm in my mother's room, then becomes, in a sense, the womb. Earliest, and this is in, I think it's throughout Beckett, in the 4 novellas, the expelled, the character climbs into the cab, and the cab horse wraps himself in. First Love, the character actually throws all of the stuff out of the prostitute's room, turns the couch against the wall, and clambers in and assumes the fetal position. So, and as early as Dream, Balakha refers to the desire to be womb-tombed or to go womb-tombed. I don't know which it is because I'm on the road and I don't have the material, but I know it's one of those. Or close as. There's no page. Another movement is the movement that from the room that is a womb that is also a tomb. Beginning with a piece of monologue, birth was the death of him. To give birth straight a grave, the likely into an instant, then it's night once more. And probably the most pronounced one is this one from First Love, just at the end, when he's literally in their room, and she lifts up her clothes to show him her pregnancy, and the narrator, she had drawn back the curtain for a clear view of all her rotundities. I saw them mountain, impassable, cavernous, secret, where from morning to night I'd hear nothing but the wind, the curlews, the clink like distant silver of the stonecutters' hammers. I'd come out in the daytime to the heather and gorse, all warmth and scent, and watch at night the distant city lights, if I chose, and the other lights, the lighthouses and light chips my father had named for me when I was small, whose names I could not find again, in my memory, if I chose, that I knew. I have something about this passage written down, so I'd just like to read it. The sight of the mountain through the windows sets off a chain of memories of childhood security, and the memories function as a retreat from the status of fatherhood that is at that moment being pressed upon him. He moves swiftly from the womb to a stone tomb, but as this great mountainous tomb is also a womb, there is a deliberate confusion of the terms in the narrative act itself, with the result that the narrator, in some sense, becomes the child. This, I come out in daytime. With the result that the narrator, in some sense, becomes the child, even as he rejects his child, so that rejection and acceptance seem both absolute and indistinguishable. And I find myself, as I always find myself when studying Beckett, in that kind of aporia of contradiction. But what is important here, I think, is to get a sense of how Beckett uses narrative language to disembody conventional notions of the body, or to deterritorialize asthma, enuresis, pyrocnocturnus, gastric and intestinal disturbance, polyacuria, spermatoria, dysuria. I think it's extraordinary that anyone post-1936 would argue that Beckett remains in some sense Cartesian. You know, you've got all these boils and anal cysts and hard sweats. It seems that the body is so foregrounded in the whole procedure. Here, when you look at the notes, you have common characteristics of all infantile birth theories, also illustrated in Mincing Fairy Tales. The denial of the female sex organs due to repression of birth trauma experienced there. Painful fixation on dysfunction of the female genitalia as organ of birth lies at the bottom of all neurotic disturbances of adult sex life. Psychical impotence as well as feminine frigidity. Inestimable advantage of man over woman consisting in his being able to go back into the mother by means of the penis which stands half for the child. You can't really tell unless you do a comparison between the two, but obviously Beckett has made interpolations into Ernest Jones there. And it's interesting that Beckett's talking in terms of, I suppose, this sort of intersubjectivity, certain borders between bodies that are broken down. Again, urgent organic pleasure, craving on certain parts in childhood, organs of nutrition, excretion, respiration, mouth and throat, anus and urethra, lungs, organs of smell, sight, touch, hearing, finally genitals for sense stimulation, leading to a discharge in some appropriate activity of the tension produced by craving, such discharge being followed by rest. So the whole notion of the Freudian drive, and that we're sort of driven by drives that we don't understand, which are not psychic, which are not conscious. Twofold incest barrier to adult sexuality. 1. Fears concerning contact between genitals regarded as instruments of castration and mutilation. 2. Fears of genital attack from parent of same-sex rival. Interjection of parent producing internal conflict. So the idea of, say, the parent being interjection and extrajection, that people are actually inside people. In some sense, breaking down that idea of the individual. All these notes he's taken at the same time at a period of intense psychological stress. He's also taking notes about philosophy. His notes on Democritus. Non-being is as real as being. There is one motive force, the mechanical inner necessity of atoms, causing them to impinge and coalesce in varying proportions. Death does not destroy the atoms, but only the individual corporation formed by their temporary association. So again, death not being some finality, this notion of passage. Talking of Aristotle. Tutor to Alexander the Great, taught amid walks of Lycaeum, hence peripatetics. And there's a character in Murphy has a peripatetic piss, so it must be a direct translation from there. For Aristotle, reality of being a question of becoming. Significance of phenomena not in the idea that transcends the instance, but in the inner meaning of final cause. So he's using Aristotle, studying Aristotle against Plato, the idea of perfect word forms, which are already preordained or pre-known as being essential. And instead he's very interested in the whole notion of Aristotelian movement. Matter and form are not two and distinct, but correlative terms. They do not exclude but presuppose one another. Motion mediates between them. It inheres in both matter and form and belongs to each. There is no reality but the reality of becoming, which of course we encounter in Murphy's mind, as described in section 6, I think is crumbling into a constant becoming. So an overriding sense here of that deterritorialization, but also that everything moves. To quote Galileo, et per si muove. I don't speak Italian, so it's probably bad. But nonetheless, they said that it might be apocryphal. Brecht used it.
Body moves.
What's that?
Spencer said body moves.
Body moves. So
referring to the constellation.
Us. Referring to the Earth. The Earth is moving around the sun.
Yeah, exactly.
And he's forced to recant, and afterwards.
Exactly, and then he says, but it's true.
It's true, it moves, exactly. Which is very interesting, because we don't know if it's apocryphal or true, and I want to talk just before I finish about the fact that fiction may be a better way of describing reality than this notion of what reality is. But first, a little aside, this is a beautiful photograph, which is why I turned off the light. It's on his website called theoldkingsroad.co.uk, which is administered by a chap called Michael. There's no other information, there's no copyright for the photographs, so I'm giving that information to you, and I lifted the photographs. It's the end of the King's Road. This is Edith Grove here, right, which we were just on. I imagine this woman here to be Celia, sort of walking towards the camera shot, right? And just out of shot here, at the very top of the King's Road, just here. Describe it. At the corner of the new glorious Gin Palace stood Four Square, a pub that had no need of the sun, neither of the moon, to shine upon it. Suddenly a man with was standing in the porch, radiant in his shirt sleeves and an apron of fine baize, holding fast a bottle of whiskey. His face was as the face of an angel. He stretched out his hand upon Cooper. When he came out 5 hours later, his thirst was firmly established. He took the tube to Wapping and there drank for a week. This wonderful description is, of course, Rosalind, which is right at the end of the King's Road. And the name, the road that Beckett was living on in London for the longest time, I can't remember it, it's just around here. So literally, this is what happens. You walk out of Beckett's Road, and there's the world's end. And this is what I found 2 weeks ago. It's probably, to use it as an aphorism, one of the saddest things a middle-aged man can ever encounter is a beautiful pub that has been closed down. So I'm sitting there, I can't believe, see the windows have all been whitewashed. There's a friend there who's taking photographs. But look at this, right? This is extraordinary. You see that bus coming? Right? Watch it, look at that. You see the ad inside the bus? The world's end. So I'm standing there bemoaning the fact that there's some finality, that this has come to an end, that it's all finished, and then it passes, it literally takes the name, and there you go. I went to the auction of Murphy, the manuscript, in Sotheby's on a Wednesday, and I kid you not, and I didn't have the photographs because the friend wasn't with me. I'm walking down New Bond Street, and there's construction going on everywhere, and it's by a company called Murphy's. It's triangular signs which are up, but on the back of the signs there's an arrow direction showing which way the sign is going to be facing. Right? So no sooner than ready to get the Murphy manuscript, we all head off to the pub with the manuscript that's like Murphy. It's true. So in terms of this movement, this type of movement that we seem to encounter in Beckett all the time, is it simply differential, or is there a process? Might it be Joycean in some sense? Because think Joyce beginning Ulysses, there's like so there's the Bard's Nose Rag, which transforms immediately into the Bay of Dublin, which transforms into the bowl of the mother's bile, which becomes a bowl of bitter waters, and yet at the same time you're reading this in a novel that establishes a certain type of Irish nationalism, very recognisable, strong, that becomes almost an authentic, or is reflective of an authentic type of Irish nationalism. So I wonder, is there anything in Beckett like that? Is there a process taking place? It is neither the chronology nor finality of from womb to tomb. This much is certain. It's not just a case of being born, being in the room, and dying. Things move in a lot more different directions, more complicated. So I had a look at Beckett in terms of what he says about rooms. This is in Dante Fain. I want to bring poetry into drama. A poetry which has been through the void and makes a new start in a new room space. I quite like that guy that through the void, suggesting that it's a process that has been traumatic, and then we arrive at some new moment that everything is white clean as a possibility of something new. So then I look to Beckett to see, can you apply this as a rule of thumb to anything going on in Beckett? This is from Steering Still. And you know, Steering Still is in 3 parts, so it begins hand on head in the room, and then we move in sort of interstitial space that is not a room, and then the result finally he was in a field of grass, which went some way if nothing else to explain his tread. He could recall no field of grass from even the very heart of which no limit of any kind was to be discovered. I think that seems vast and infinite. And it finishes, no matter how, no matter where, time and grief and self so called, owe all to end. So it struck me that this was evocative and suitably romantic to make me feel with the idea of a passage moving through, but it also has a certain type of vitality to it, and clearly as well, it's not a room, it's a field. So I found this one. This is Beckett was writing to the chap who directed Waiting for Godot in the prison in Germany, and says, to someone moved as I am, phrases come easily, but from a sloppy way of talking. Not at all your style, given that I am no longer the same, and will never again be able to be the same after what you have done, all of you. In the place where I've always found myself, where I will always find myself, turning round and round, falling over, getting up again, it is no longer wholly dark or wholly silent. I thought this is different, because this is the same place. We're not talking about a movement, there's no transition to a new place. Instead, things are a little brighter, but it's still the same area. Now, in relation to the first quote, where he says, I want to bring poetry into drama, poetry which has been through the void. That immediately survivors of catastrophic historical events are possessed by the past and performatively caught up in the compulsive repetition of traumatic scenes. Scenes in which the past returns and the future is blocked or fatalistically